I think we'll have fewer gaffes in the future.
How did you get to your intuition on what the efficient frontier of employees needed to be to make the product better?
Well, yeah.
Well, I observed part of this where you basically asked the question, who here is critical and who here is exceptional?
Yes. I mean, it really, what the criteria is trying to apply, and obviously you're not going to be perfect if you're moving fast, and there's a lot of people you're talking about here, is that anyone who is exceptional at what they do, where the role is critical, they have a positive effect on others, and they are trusted, meaning they put the company's interests before their own, should stay.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and also is up for working hard. Like was not Twitter's prior culture.
Oh God, he's as dumb as he seems. Like, that is supposedly a genius. He's a creator. He's an innovator. That right there. That is Elon Musk on the All In podcast trying to explain his massive layoffs and what he did and why he did it. Sounds like he doesn't really know. But he did say things like, when you're moving fast, this is what you have to do. And he's referring to these massive layoffs. So again, just a refresher. After Musk's $44 billion takeover deal went through on the 27th of October, he cut around half of the company's workforce. He also fired top execs, as well as workers who criticized his leadership of the company. Remaining employees were given an ultimatum asking them to commit to Musk's vision for Twitter 2.0, which he said would involve working long hours at high intensity or getting laid off. Other Twitter workers, meanwhile, chose to quit their jobs, saying Musk had changed the company's culture and they were worried about the site's future. And according to Musk, Dan, he changed the company's culture because he was about working hard. And they were not about working hard. And the question is, are you good at your job or are you extraordinary at your job, or whatever the hell that dude said? How would you answer that?
I'm walking on a lot of red lines here. So I'll just say my favorite part of that video was the question. And I love these like Elon Musk fanboys who like try to dance around this. Oh, I don't want Lord Farquaad to possibly get upset and leave my interview. So I'm going to say, how did you find the efficient frontier for workers? That's a brand new consulting euphemism, like Pete Buttigieg level. Like, how do you fire people? How do you figure out how to fire people? The efficient frontier of workers, like, threw up in my mouth a little bit. Secondly, if you have any friends, like people in the audience, you have any friends who listen to the All In podcast, seriously, because I've heard this like come up in a lot of recent conversation. Your New Year's resolution, don't break this one. Move them slightly towards something of reason and sanity. Like, I don't love Galloway and Kara Swisher, whatever, the pivot people, but like that's a little bit better and less like ridiculous.
You gotta listen to a tech podcast.
Yeah, like also they're like a little bit more Elon Musk adversarial, even though Kara Swisher's really good friends with Elon. So like whatever. That's the nicest advice I've ever given to Elon Musk fans. But the issue here is that what you're getting at is this fundamentally anti-worker guy. And I pointed this out like a long time ago. I tweeted, how long till Elon Musk gets the guillotine? And like an idiot, he responded. And it was an opportunity, it was like,
you didn't get banned for that, Dan? Did you get
this
banned?
This was back in 2018. So like this was the long game.
The foresight,
right?
yes.
But I used it, I didn't think he would respond because that's stupid. But I in that tweet thread, people can look at it, I was pointing out how, okay, your workers at SpaceX, your workers at Tesla are reporting abuse at your companies. And like, you're not the smart guy. You could go back in the history, and I don't have time to here, but like Elon Musk is the person who showed up when the camera was taken with the description smart guys under it. But he's always like building off of other people's work. So I have great admiration for the workers of Elon Musk companies. They are doing amazing amazing, incredible things that are really pushing humanity forward. It's not Elon Musk, all right? But to see the person who shows them the most disrespect on earth is their CEO is one of the most sickening things about him fundamentally. That's like, get rid of all the Twitter stuff, get rid of all the political misgivings. This is what I don't like about him, is that the very people who bring him the fortunes, the very people who do the work, who make him seem like a superhero famous guy, he treats like crap all the time. And that's like, as a leftist, as a person who cares about like human rights and benefits, and like, I care about that uber alles compared to all of the other like trash that's going on. And hopefully through the stuff going on with Elon Musk and all the stories, and sometimes we find it to be noise, that's the real thing here. This guy is anti-worker, and this guy also, the South African, mind you, wants to run space colonies. We should think about that before he implants chips in people's brains. And that guy who has those kinds of ethics should not be leading anything, let alone like a dog pound, let alone like a space colony.
I could not have said it better, Dan. I think that's so perfect. I want to play this last clip because Elon Musk was asked about the journalist ban, remember when he was banning people for reporting on the way that he banned the @ElonJet guy, the guy who was recording and tracking publicly available information about where Elon Musk's private jet was going. And here's what he had to say.
On the journalist front, I think the journalist suspensions were not a mistake in that for some reason a bunch of journalists thought they were better than everyone else, and that if they engage in doxing and break the rules in various ways, that they're not subject to suspension, even though your average citizen is. And I think that's just messed up. The same rules should apply to people who call themselves journalists as to anyone else on the system. They shouldn't be sort of above the rules. For some reason, they thought they should be. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's right.
We are in an era where when you report on reality, somehow you think you're above the rules and above the law, when that reality is particularly about the richest man on the planet, about him. That's what it was about. And I think it's amazing, after reinstating all of the journalists who were reporting on his banning of other journalists. Again, it was just very meta in that way. The dude doesn't have the ability to say, yeah, that was wrong. Yeah, that was wrong. Because the follow-up question to that is, well, then why did you reinstate them? If you banned them, why did you reinstate them? Are you trying to send a chilling effect? Do you still believe in freedom of speech? Do you know that the freedom of the press is basically is freedom of speech, but for the public? Like on a massive scale, it's fundamental to democracy. Do you believe in democracy? Yes, no? Where are we at on that? So again, the guy's being asked to just reflect on his time and striking out.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.